Hello everybody, Jake your resident content cowboy here, Yeehaw, and we have early patch notes of what is coming to the game with Sableye. A few things to point out. Every time the public test server does something, it feels like it's going to come over to the game, but it doesn't necessarily always come over in the fashion we expect. However, when the changes are this close to coming to the game, I think a lot of these are probably what's going to hit the game as soon as we get the big change. So let's take a look at this. Big shout outs to everyone over at the Math Cord for this and Evo for sending me this. So here are some of the changes that we have. We have UI changes, the end battle results screen. If you've seen my previous videos from the test server, you've seen some of this, and they added a stat counter into the game. Obviously, we will have to do a memorial for my stat counter, but you know, time will tell if their stat counter is actually inferior to mine, and mine will need to come back. That's a stack. Here we go. Emblems. Emblem sets get stickied to a Pokemon. What? That's freaking beautiful. I didn't even see that. Oh my gosh, that's freaking beautiful. Okay, equipping duplicate emblems gives an alert to not use them. Burn, sleep, and poisoned indicators are improved. I have seen that. That looks really nice. This emblem change, by the way, is sweet. The map, Rayquaza. I don't even want to get into this. Rayquaza's shield value increased, extra damage increased, faster scoring. You know, this is a bigger topic than even needs to be covered in this video. I know everyone in the chat's probably saying, finally, Rayquaza is more like Zapdos than it ever was. So, here's what I'll say. When they come out with a survey, fill it out and mention that you might not enjoy this change that much. Rayquaza going even crazier, to me, seems not ideal. All right, moving on. Pokemon, Sableye, patch note. Gremlins welcome their brethren. Yes, Sableye coming to the game. That's going to be very fun to see. And it's going to be fun to see what version of Sableye that I played on the public test server actually makes it into the game, because you really don't know. Dodrio. Okay, so this Dodrio is interesting. I was reading this a little earlier. So its sprint empowered audio gets a buff. However, its tri-attack gets a nerf. This feels like, you know, you take a little from here and you give a little here, but at the same time, it looks kind of like a sideways, like nothing actually happened here. If you don't use your boosted attack, then something happened here. But if you use your boosted attack after using your tri-attack, which you do, it seems like this isn't kind of a huge thing. Okay, Mr. Mime. Boy, I bet people are waiting for this one. Confusion, nerfed. Confusion Plus, nerfed. So now everything about Mime has been nerfed since it kind of got crazy good. I think these are very reasonable nerfs. This Pokemon is crazy. I still think Mime will be good after this. Let me point that out right now. I think Mime will still be good. However, these nerfs were very much needed, and I can see everyone in the chat. Dang, rest in peace, Mime. I mean, people are excited about it. Down with the clown. We all know the feeling. We all want Mime to get hurt a little bit, even though I do love my Mime. Zoroark. Zoroark. Night Slash is getting a nerf, is getting a cooldown increase. Obviously, Night Slash is the current sort of preferred build, even though I saw some of the Japanese teams are running Feint, so we'll have to see what that looks like. But Night Slash getting a cooldown nerf, I think this is totally fair. It's a deletion button, right? And it would be nice if it didn't delete everything all the time. So it can get in there. It can do a big burst of damage, but it's going to take longer for it to actually get in there and fight again. And it's a speedster. It's a big time assassin, so you want to be able to do tons of burst damage, but you also don't want to be able to do tons of burst damage and then come right back and do it again. So this is probably a pretty fair nerf. They might have been able to do a little bit more, but the buff on Feint Attack, it looks like it is going up. The damage is getting like a 10% of your attack base attack buff. Your per level is going up, your base is going up. These are all nice changes. The leap is getting a big buff right here. This looks pretty nice. So a nice big buff to the Feint Attack build, which again is the less common used build currently. So I think that's pretty great. Mystical Fire Sylveon. Both Mystical Fire and Draining Kiss are getting buffs right here. This is actually really cool because that build is really bad for the most part. Mystical Fire, getting a buff on its first hit from 70% to 77 per level, and a base buff. Really solid buffs across the board for it. And then the Kiss cooldown is getting reduced by 1 second for draining Kiss, and the healing is getting better. So, yeah. These are great buffs. These are great Sylveon buffs right here. These are really, really nice. I think people are going to be pretty happy about this. I think this might make it a reasonable build. We're going to have to see. Blastoise. Okay, we're getting a buff to its boosted attack. Interesting. It probably needs it. It struggles in path early. So these are actually pretty good changes to Blastoise. I was wondering, are they doing any more? No. Oh, Surf. Surf's getting a cooldown. So now we're giving a little more love to sort of the very heavy tank build. And we're giving love to its boosted, which is good because it's just weak. It's weak early. So it would be nice to give Blastoise a little bit of everything, honestly. Mew, it's getting its stats nerfed, and we're not sure what exactly is getting nerfed. So it's kind of hard to test all of these on the PTS, but we know that Mew's natural special attack is getting a nerf, and Gardevoir's is getting a buff. We're not positive on the exact numbers. That's what I'm being told. And again, with all of this, it's not 100%, but just about everything that's been in a test server while like right up to when the game updates has been just about what comes to the game from what I've seen. So just know that Mew getting some nerfs, Gardevoir getting some buffs. Both of these are extremely reasonable and absolutely needed. Unite move. Ooh, this is great. Fairy Singularity, the Unite move from Gardevoir right here, getting a nice buff, getting moved down and cooldown from 134 to 112. It probably can be reduced even more. It's a pretty good Unite move, but it takes so long to use. If it was on a Delphox timer, I mean, imagine how good of a move that would be. Okay, Clefable, let's take a look here. Clefable is getting a buff to its defense and special defense. This is so reasonable, by the way. I don't know why, but Clefable was released in such a bizarre state where it's kind of the least tanky defender, and it's, supporter, and it needs to be up in the mix all the time. So these are nice. These are nice little buffs right here, and we'll see how much it actually helps Clefable to give it those buffs. I'm surprised it's not getting any HP, actually. Slowbro getting some buffs right here. So Slowbro... excuse me, I'm dying. Slowbro is getting a buff to defense and special defense as well. Slowbro is already pretty dang good, so I think this is actually a great buff here to this Pokemon, of a Pokemon that's already doing pretty well. Defense, special defense. Also, Telekinesis is getting a buff. Its cooldown is getting a big decrease from 9 seconds to 7.5. Let me make sure that's up on the screen. I think I need to move this slightly for everybody to see that last part here. Yeah, Telekinesis is getting a buff. 9 seconds to 7.5. And then Duraludon, we don't know. So I think it's a nerf that's happening to Dura, but I'm not sure exactly. It could be a buff, and we simply don't know. But right there, we have early patch notes. It might be everything that comes to the game. There might be something missing. Some of this might be slightly wrong, but there we go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love you. We did it. We did it.